So today we're going to talk about the CI principles and how the CI principles can help us deliver higher quality in terms of competitive intelligence, but also make us better as an organization. So Sabi, do you want to give us a quick overview on how we came up with these principles?
Yeah, so it's actually quite an interesting story. Back in 2012, Sal and myself, we brainstormed about the principles, or really the fundamentals of what allowed us to be successful in Novartis, why Sal and the team won so many awards in competitive intelligence. And so really wanted to get an idea of what they were so we can bring them forward with us. This is an acronym of 8 letters. It's called Capital Systems: continuous, anticipate, proactive, integrated, timely, actionable, legal, ethical, and systematic.
Yeah, so in 2012, I decided to leave Novartis. That was kind of like the high period for competitive intelligence at Novartis. Recently, we also look at those principles internally within Atacana with the current team and really looked at them. Are they still valid? And if so, what does it mean to us? So when we look at the principles, the first one is continuous. So the CI process need to be continuous to be able to detect early any changes in the landscape, be able to make sure we maximize opportunities for intelligence gathering, and making sure that we really provide that early warning to the organization. Sabi, how do you think that has changed in the last couple of years since, well, more than a couple of years since we first developed them?
Well, what I think is fascinating is that those principles still hold true today. You know, they're still super relevant today. You get basically a refined version today. So the next principle after continuous is anticipate. We chose this word, but really what it means is anticipating the future, predicting the future, really knowing what's coming your way. And the way to think about it is really 3 categories. So one way to think about, of course, is the external environment, the competition. That's sort of what we are here for. We also need to really take into account what our clients' needs are before they come to us and ask us what they need. We can already anticipate their needs by asking the right questions about what's going on in the team, what sort of decisions are coming up. The final part is within our organization, within Atacana. To be a good team player, you also need to anticipate what the team might need, what the organization might need. So always thinking about one step ahead, what's coming up in the organization, what type of activities may be required, so you can anticipate what's coming up.
Yeah, so the next one is the what we call proactive, right? The best defense is a good offense. And really when we think about anticipating, a good component of that is really planning, right? It's really thinking ahead of time, thinking about the actions that we need to put in place. And the second part to that is, again, plan is great, but they need to take massive action against that plan. And as we take action, things are going to change. And then we need to be proactively monitoring, because if we do that proactively, then we can adapt the plans, we can adapt the strategy to make sure it stays relevant. The next one is what we call integrated.
Most likely you'll think about integrating the data. So really integrating the right data sources, secondary, primary, publicly available sources, non-publicly available sources, intelligence that we get from clients. So that's one way of looking at the integrations from a data perspective. The other component that's really essential for us is when we do the analysis is to really work as a cross-functional team, bringing the right experts into the discussion to make sure the analysis is right. If we're working with the commercial team, do really take into consideration also the development team, market access or regulatory teams. They can provide us with viewpoints, but potentially there's other stakeholders as well. So market research, forecasting, business analytics, they also rely a lot on the competitive intelligence.
Yeah, I guess as you start going through this, a new idea that just came up to me right now is also when you think about Scrum, right?
Yeah.
We need to work as an integrated team within Scrum. It's not a one-man's job, but it's really this idea of swarming, working as a team, working as an integrated team to make sure that we hit the targets, that we hit the results. The next one that we have here in the capital system There will be the T for timely.
Obviously, the intelligence, the CI needs to be on time. Old news is old news, but you also need to be on time with the deliverables, being timely in terms of preparations with the clients, being timely with time boxing your activities related to Scrum, getting timely feedback. These different principles that we're giving you, really what they enable you to do is to lower your stress level. So, we've been in your shoes, we've done a lot of this work, taking into account being proactive, anticipating future events, being timely. All these things will make your life a lot easier.
I think one of the success factors and what it is, and I think it was a big success factor also at Roche and now with all the other clients, is this idea of actionable. We can generate a lot of data, we can generate a lot of information, we can generate a lot of insights, but at the end of the day, is the client taking action on the information? One is the predictive intelligence because we know what the future looks like, but then it's really connected to the competitive readiness, right? How can we help the client take action, how we can ensure that they're looking at the information in a proactive way and making sure that they're changing the behavior within the organization. Actionable also means in terms of Atacana, as to think about our internal processes, we need to make sure that we're taking action internally to make sure that deliverables are completed on time. It means that we're taking action, reaching out to the intelligence collectors, making sure that we're taking action in updating the backlog. The next one is something that we always need to keep in mind because it's something that will come up in the conversation with the clients and it's also something that can get us in a lot of potential risk.
The next one is legal and ethical. Competitive intelligence is not about doing anything illegal, it's really about finding smart ways to help our clients understand what's changing in the market space. Making sure also within the team that you work ethically, that you're accountable for the way you work. We have more details on the legal and ethical guidelines also that have been developed with legal counsel that we can share with you.
We need to manage expectations with the clients on what we can do and what we cannot do. And the other thing we need to make sure that the client understands that it's better to fail a project than to break the law or to do something that's unethical.
No piece of information is worth the legal and ethical risk.
And the last one is systematic.
Systematic monitoring allows you to catch small changes early on so you don't have surprises. So when you do a one-off project, they can be good and they can give you a lot of insights, but you want to have the systematic monitoring to really get some of the finer details and see the small changes. Also from a Scrum perspective, what we do systematically is to do the sprint planning, having calls with the clients, systematically getting feedback, ideally documented feedback.
So being systematic on how we do things then will allow us to continue to grow exponentially, make sure that we have standard operating procedures, making sure that we have standard processes. We don't want to become a bureaucratic company, but it's important that all of us understand what are the key activities that make us successful and making sure that we do those in a systematic way.
Yeah, so again, it's an easy acronym that we did on purpose when we designed this. We spent a lot of time thinking about these principles. It stands for capital systems. It's continuous, anticipate, proactive, integrated, timely, actionable, legal and ethical, and of course, systematic.
Yeah, so I summarized it. The work now is on your end. You need to internalize them, really understand your day-to-day activities. We recommend that you print them out, have them next to you, and just look at them on an ongoing basis because again, this continuous improvement, this continuous learning is part of this process, and the more you look at them, then the better your work will become over time. So thank you for watching.